Hey everybody, welcome back to the Best Coin News channel on YouTube. I'm Son of a Silver Stacker. In today's numismatic news and information for the 23rd day of February 2024, I'm going to welcome you over to moneymetals.com so we can check out the live spot prices as well as the availability and the premiums for the American Silver Eagle from 2024. After that, we'll bump over to the United States website, look at their bullion sales. Then we're going to journey over to numismaticnews.net. There's an excellent article about the hard lessons learned while coin collecting, because let's face it, education never comes cheap. Look at all those kids with student loan debt. Absolutely awful. Now, before any of that, before we get going here, I'm trying to reach a bazillion subs. That's right, a bazillion. That's a mighty big number. It's got to be. Well, that way we can open up the official Son of a Silver Stacker store and sell the official Son of a Silver Stacker merchandise. There it was, see? Now, over here to moneymetals.com's gold is up $1.65 to 2036.25. Silver's flat at 22.92. Platinum down 6.55 to 907.20, now 906.25. Palladium up 2.55 to $1,003.30. You're looking at an in-stock American Silver Eagle whose premium is $6.99. Says so right there. And you're going to get out the door for those with those for $29.91. Yeah, and then they'll buy them back for $25 each. Isn't that interesting? I think that's the highest buyback price we've seen in weeks. And yeah, that's the lowest we've seen that one in quite some time. I'd like to see it around $2.50, $2.99, somewhere around there. Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks. All right, now over here to the bullion sales at the United States Mint. No new tale to tell. Not one thing is going on that's new. Not one. Now over here to numismaticnews.net. Here's the title of the article, and it's called, What is the Biggest Thing You've Had to Learn the Hard Way with Collecting Coins? And I'm sure all of us have an answer for this one. All of us. Yeah, I don't think anybody's actually went through this unscathed, right? Not hit. It says here, this is by Numismatic News staff, February 21st. That was just 2 days ago now, 2024. And it says it's from the February 16th, 2024 Numismatic News e-letter readers poll, Coin Collecting's hardest lessons. Isn't that the truth? And like I said, education never comes cheap. So let's keep on keeping on. Yep, that's the number one thing. Look, number one thing to do in the hobby is learn. Because, yeah, people will put you over a barrel if you don't know what you're doing. Now, grading, really have to know how to do that. That's Mike said that. Now, Scott says this, it's hard enough to tell if a coin is BU or cleaned, but to trust a vendor at a coin show or in a coin shop, they show a coin and it's BU and uncleaned, and you purchase it, and that price, you have it sent, for instance, to PCGS, and it turns out that it's not BU or it's been cleaned. You have lost a lot of money in turns, yeah, and you lose trust in people. That's been one of the biggest lessons I've learned in collecting numismatic coins. So who do you trust? Yeah, you've got to have a reputable dealer, and sometimes even coin dealers, I think they have a hard time discerning whether or not a coin has been dipped or cleaned or anything like that. And let's face it, you could submit coins and they have never been cleaned, and you're going to get a details grade. It's one of those things. Sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail. So it doesn't necessarily mean that the coin was cleaned. It just means that's the grade that it got, right? Not to clean coins is the hardest lesson they've learned, or at least carefully, and only as necessary, as with coins recovered with a metal detector. Yeah, the outside stuff, or maybe those ancients, right? Ancients, seems like they always need to be cleaned, or at least, what do they call that? Restored. Yeah, that's the word. How to identify a counterfeit coin. Yeah, can you do that? Do you know how to do that much? And if you do, I'm sure the Secret Service will be asking to contact you, right? Now, here we go. That's name and address withheld. That's some interesting comments for people who did not want to have their names withheld, or did have their names withheld, rather. Now, we keep on keeping on. 45 years ago, my grandfather gave me some of his coins, and I have been hooked ever since. The hardest lesson to follow was actually one of my first. When to say no, like when to stop buying. When shopping for coins, I try to take the emotional aspect out of it. If it's a coin or currency that just screams, buy me now, it may be time to step back mentally and consider the following. Does it fit with my collection? Is the price reasonable? Is it up to my usual standards? If not, waiting is almost always the best course of action. Absolutely. I totally agree with that. We'll always wait it out. It's like a tattoo. You should think about it for 8 years and then get it, only because, 8 years might seem like a long time, but so is forever, right? So if not, waiting is almost always the best course of action. In the rare case that it isn't true, I just view it as it wasn't meant to be and press on. This prevents buyer's regret or remorse. In some cases, waiting allows another chance at the same coin or currency at a better price or condition. Isn't that the truth? And I think that's one of the axioms of this hobby, is that you will find it less expensive in the future. You just have to be patient and wait. Still, I sometimes purchase a coin that I would normally wouldn't. Whoops. On those occasions, I hear my grandfather telling me, "Boy, you ain't got to get everything this week." Yeah, okay, enough said. Name and address withheld. Don't fully trust any coin dealer, especially smaller ones. And if you are buying expensive coins, only purchase encapsulated coins. Name and address withheld. I'm sure they got burned, right? Everybody here sounds like they got burned in one way or another. All right. I first started my interest in numismatics in 2019. That was just a half a decade ago, if you can believe that. So, as with everything I do in life, I jumped in head first like a 10-year-old into the pool. I just made that last part up. Well, this cost me dearly, and I mean dearly. Whoops, let's find out what's going on here, this poor guy. It almost efficiently deterred me from numismatics. I saw an ad on good old eBay, which, of course, at the time didn't know the taboo of eBay. I ended up purchasing a complete set of Morgans. Wow, a complete set of Morgans for $399. I'm thinking, a complete set? Huh? That's pretty cheap for a whole complete set. I'm thinking a nice start, especially for a retired guy on a very limited income. Well, I was so happy with my purchase that I immediately took them to Bellevue Rare Coins here in Tacoma, Washington to see how I did. Well, the nice lady really didn't know how to break it to me because, of course, I was basically glowing with excitement only to be informed of my not so great investment. I found out later that what? I found out later that China makes these from a master real coin, then mass produces them and sends them to a contact in the U.S. to be remailed to people in their orders. So needless to say, I learned quickly that a lower grade common date Morgan can run the $399 easily, let alone a complete set. Yeah, I almost gave up my first try, but luckily I have true friends in numismatics and they propped me per se. Okay, well, good job. Glad you didn't stay there forever. Regrettably or unfortunately, people like that throughout history have spoiled it for others. That's Robert. Isn't that interesting? He says here, as a very young person, when I started collecting coins at the age of around 9 or 10, I was always under the impression that if something is old, it is valuable. When I became wise and knowledgeable at around, okay, that's funny, he's funny, I realized that just because something is old does not really mean that it is valuable. If it's heavy, it's valuable. That's what I always thought. Not expensive. I always thought if it's heavy, it's expensive. I applied this to numismatics and learned at a young age that simply the supply and demand created value. Buying R.S. Yeoman's a guidebook to the Red Book and the Blue Handbook of the United States coins every year helps me to see this. Looking back, I should have tried to concentrate on purchasing key dates rather than less expensive, more common items. For example, purchasing a 1913 San Francisco minted Type 2 Indian head buffalo nickel in the early 1960s was well worth the purchase and an excellent investment. The problem was not being able to afford it at the time. If I were to go back in time, I would do it over, concentrating on purchasing just the key and semi-key items to complete a collection. Today, buying key items is just about as cost prohibitive unless, of course, you win the big lottery. That's amazing. Buy unique limited mintage bullion items when buying from the mint. There you go. That's some good advice, I think. Pretty much everything, this person says. My mother-in-law left me some coins, which spurred my interest, so I decided to give the coins a shot. I started modestly, acquiring coins locally, then moved on to auctions, live and online, where I started the learning process. Distressingly, a lot of coins purchased at online auctions were either cleaned or otherwise altered. That blows. Whereas I didn't have the knowledge to discern the grades on various coins, therefore frequently overpaying. Still remains an enjoyable pursuit, but I would caution newbies to start very modestly with more inexpensive varieties until they learn. But to add, I have made some surprisingly significant finds, but more by chance than in the know. Yeah, that's dumb luck right there. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate that. Let's keep on keeping on. I've collected coins my entire life, but I would often stop and lose interest at times. But I've learned that collecting coins is more about collecting friends than it is about acquiring coins. That's cool. That's a good way to look at it. Thanks to the local coin club, I've made good friends that I look forward to seeing every month, and that is more valuable than anything I owned. Yeah, but what did you learn, right? The hard lessons. Let's talk about those hard lessons. I've also branched out into meeting people at shows. What fun. I like to work the hospitality tables at our local shows. Went to the A&A Money Show in Phoenix last year and met some amazing people, and now plan on attending Money Show in Colorado Springs in March. I'm also starting up a coin club at the high school where I teach. Way to go, buddy. That's amazing. That's cool. Anything to get the youth into it. I think that's the theme this year is getting the youth into coin collecting. Filling a hole to complete a collection is not nearly as much fun as the hunt for a superb coin to fill that same hole. That is exactly look, it's about the chase, right? It's about the journey more than it is the destination. That's what he's saying right there. It's about the journey. How to grade coins. I still use a PCGS grading site. That's awesome. Not everyone was as honest and ethical as I am. That was a hard lesson learned. Yeah, That's true, believe it or not. Yeah, not everybody's like us or you. Grading counts. Yeah, absolutely. Who to trust and who is really knowledgeable. Our local coin shops are mainly interested in selling and buying silver and gold. They have no other inventory and in most cases know nothing about coin collecting. Yeah, that you could take advantage of that if they don't know what they got, right? Knowledge is vital. Knowledge is power. That's what it really is. Now, here this person, Mike, he learned this one. Don't clean a coin. Yeah, that's true actually. Maybe have the grading companies restore it, but don't clean it. You and I have read this many times, and yet I had to learn this lesson the hard way. I had an extra fine 1917 San Francisco Opera's 50 cent that my father had gotten in change on a trip. It had some tiny black speckles on the eagle's breast that bothered me a little, and I finally decided to give it a slight cleaning with baking soda. Oh, no, a minute or two later, my $700 coin was worth $250. But no more black speckles or any other natural patina. Yeah, that's a bummer in the summer. That was one of the toughest lessons learned. Yeah, you got to love that patina, folks. It's all about the patina, right? Especially for ancients. The biggest thing that I had to learn the hard way with collecting coins was looking up barber coin values while bidding online. As what we all know, the barber dime, quarter, and half dollar have the same uppers. It was easy to look up the value of one denomination thinking we're looking up the other and base your bid offer on the wrong value. Yeah, whoops. You got to know what you're looking at, right? That's amazing. I found learning how to grade was tough, but easier than determining if the coin had been cleaned. Abso-friggin-lutely. That's huge. Whiz was no problem, but many well-struck battleship grade type coins I found to be very difficult to discern. Add that to the differing metals, i.e. copper, silver, gold, and I was prey to the opinions of the sellers. After 4 or 5 bad calls, yowza, right? 4 or 5. Some people learn their lesson slow. Some people learn it the first time. After 4 or 5 bad calls, as determined by the TPG folks, I learned to buy encapsulated coins. I'm fine with lower grade, inexpensive coins, but above $200, I always purchase third-party graded coins. Absolutely. If you're going to build a complete set of any coin, always buy the key dates first and buy the very best you can afford. And that's something. I agree with that. For me, it was learning to identify clean coins and reduce their valuations considerably, even if I would consider buying them. Also, I still have problems telling artificial from real toning. Yow. Yeah, that one's not as hard, I don't think. Well, it all started back in 1964. My grandmother started me collecting Roosevelt dimes. I was 8 years old, and I was hooked. I could go on and on about my collecting over the years, but that's not the question at hand. And it says here, I was always told to buy the best condition coins you could, and always buy the key coins first. Well, as I said, I started in 1964, when almost everything could still be found in circulation. My dad kept bringing home rolls and rolls of coins for me to go through. That's awesome. What a cool dad. So I filled most of my holes with coins out of circulation. I waited until later in life to fill the remaining holes by purchasing them from coin dealers. Regrettably, the key coins kept going up and up in price, and I kept saying I could have bought that coin for a tenth of that price. Thus, my biggest lesson learned the hard way was definitely not buying the key coins first. That's a few people have mentioned buy the key date coins first. Still collecting after all these years. So there you go. I think we have maybe a few more left. I'll leave a link in the description, let you read this. I'm going to go to the plus ones now. Yeah, that's right. We're going to do plus ones. Bam! There we go. This is Psalm 34:15. It says, turn from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it. Yeah, so I think that what that basically means, it is our duty to proactively work for peace and turn away from evil. Yeah, evil. That's right. Now over here to 3 Nines Fine, 99.9 KOIN Coin News Radio. This is Cake. Short skirt, long jacket. On 3 Nines Fine, 99.9 KOIN Coin News Radio. Hope you dig it, folks. Hope you have a great weekend. I know I will. Well, at least I hope I will. That's one of those things you can't count your chickens before they hatch, right? We'll do our best, and I hope you do your best to have a wonderful day today and tomorrow and Sunday. Hope to talk to you soon. Stacker out.